Hello guys, it's me, the X-Wolf here today, and today we're doing of Deku was the Western Wolf from the Surge 2. And I know, the Western Wolf is not in the game, but this is what Deku's gonna look like. And the blades he's gonna be using are those, but I haven't got the description for them. But guys, tell me if you like this design or not. If you don't, I'll change it up, I'll switch back to the original. Because this is what the original looked like. And my question is, why don't I have merch of this? I know, right? Because think about it, that'd be so cool for a shirt. Okay, but anyway, we start off Deku at an orphanage. You see, after Inko found out that her child was quirkless, she abandoned him in New York. But that's where something happens. As defrags started to happen, everyone in the orphanage was killed due to the nanites' high chance of killing the children, and only a 1% chance of them surviving. However, Deku was one of those 1% chances, and the place was overgrown and overrun. But a monster made out of complete nanites thought of Deku as kin, or just as another puppet. So this creature took him to a wolf's den nearby, and for the next 8 years, Deku's been one with the wolves. And yes, he's been cast out many times, but he always returns to the pack, due to him being a freak among them. Deku speaks wolf language. He's barbaric, but he does understand a bit of English. When the wolves tell him to run away, like a coward he is, Deku runs away, crying that he has no actual friends. However, Deku falls into a pit, into some kind of cave area, and it had some type of exosuit in it. And it was the Western Wolf suit. You see, the military thought they destroyed all these suits because they had such incredible speed and power, but it would kill the user if they put it on, because they had to have nanites in their system. And since Deku has nanites in his system bloodstream, he can regenerate faster than humans. He's stronger than them. He can take out 50 people in a Russian team, or even an army. But there's so much he can do. Both the exosuit will just enhance his abilities. As soon as Deku wins, hitting at it with a rock, the thing opens up and just says, "Please identify yourself." As Deku stood there for 2 hours just hitting the thing. As Deku got near it, the thing grabbed Deku's arm and is pulling him in, and starts implanting the rig to his body. All you hear is screaming in pain, because if you guys don't remember the Surge one, yeah, imagine getting drills drilled into your body for that rig to be put inside your body. Yeah, and after that machine gave Deku his armor, Deku was now the Western Wolf, and Deku felt more powerful, stronger than he ever did in his life. And this is the chance he ever wanted. He looks like a wolf, like a pack leader. So Deku jumped out of the hole with incredible height and landed on the ground, began rushing towards the cave where the wolves are. But however, Deku sniffs out blood, so he hides in the bushes for a bit, and he sees these 3 humans and rigs just carving up the wolves' fur for coats. Of course, Deku was raged, so he grabbed one of the guy's weapons that were sitting on the ground, and lunged it through the guy's face, going through his skull. There was blood everywhere. The other guy grabbed a spear. It means almost about to lance Deku, but Deku dodges it and grabs the lance from him and turns it around on him, and then thrusts it through his chest into a rock. As the guy is sitting there dying, he's like saying, "What the hell are you?" As Deku just leans into him with that rose red eyes, just saying, "I am the Western Wolf," and just slashes the guy's throat. Six years later, defrag, day, March 3rd, year 2099. Of course, UA was actually traveling across New York because they didn't want to be near there, but they had no other choice. There's only one flight to get to Tokyo, and let's just say they were visiting, they were on vacation, basically. However, as soon as the military shot down the plane, it got serious. UA tried to contact their parents, like saying that we believe their parents, your children's alive, and all that, but no. As Deku's sitting on the rooftops, as he just sees the crash in the plane, a bunch of guys in suits are going towards them, and Deku's like, so they're going to take another person. Because if it's not children, they're going to kill them, so. Deku decided to hop out and start slicing everyone in the unit, slaughtering them, knocking their bodies across walls, and throwing them into riverbanks. And some, Deku just grabbed their helmets and started hitting their helmet to pavement over and over again until you see blood coming out of it. And that's when one of the survivors wakes up from the crash. Juno was getting up. That's Juno. As Juno's getting up from the crash, she sees this mechanized thing. Horror. There's blood on its hands and blood on its blades. As Juno was now having adrenaline run through her system, she felt terrified. She was so scared that she thought this thing was going to kill her next. As Deku just grabs a gun from one of the soldiers and just hands it to Juno and just says, Listen, if you want to survive out here, take the damn gun. It'll help you and your friends out a lot. Also, there's a safe house not too far there. It's abandoned, and I just found that recently, so. As Deku gives Juno the card, as Deku's leaving, as Juno's like, wait! Deku turns to them and just says, yeah. I just met you, but what is this place? As Deku just says, it's defrag. And you're stuck here. As Bell jumps away. Not Bell. Deku jumps away. As Juno gets the rest of her friends up, getting up from the crash. As Momo's like, now has to be the leader, because fuck Ida. Everyone in the comments, just put F for Ida. Put F Ida. As that's when Momo's giving the speech about where we should find to make a base, and Juno said, well, there's one over there, it's not too far out, and I have the card for it. As Momo says, how'd you get the card? As Juno says, well, a guy gave it to me. I don't know his name, though. As Momo says, okay, you have to tell me about this later, but let's go to the safe house first because some students are pretty critically injured. Bakugo's legs broken, Ida's left arm's broken, Kirishima's jaw's completely fractured, and Oraka and Mina, well, Mina's leg is like dislocated, and Oraka's arm, it's like broken. So after they get back to the abandoned safe house, they noticed it had some medical supplies, but not much. Only about to heal probably 2 or 3 classmates. So after a few days, I'm like, actually not a few days. I'm gonna say 2 years go by. And class 1A is still having trouble just trying to get into the. No, what? Not 2 years. 2 months go by. And Baku was still grumpy because his leg's still fractured. And they didn't think it would be more fractured than they thought, but it's going to take even more time for all that to heal. However, Ida can actually walk perfectly fine. However, Mina's leg's been relocated or reattached, and Oraka's arm is still covered up in bandages. As Juno walks on top of the base, Deku just sitting by, just watching, and just eating something. He's eating some chicken that he cooked and seasoned. As he's eating as he drinks a glass of water, just a pouch of water, and just wondering. I must say, they're doing pretty good in the next 2 months. Well, why? Because no one could ever survive this long for 2 months. It's probably because I showed them that little base thingy. However, mine's way more secretive than that. As Deku goes for another drink for a sip of his water, Juno's sighing, just saying the enemies we've came across are insanely powerful. Not even our quirks can do anything about it. When I mean our quirks, I mean everyone's quirks. Baku can't use explosions. I certainly can't use my, I don't know, my thing. The only one who's able to use a quirk is Momo. I don't know why, but she's the only one that can use a quirk. As Deku's quirk? I have read about them in some of the files. Because some of New York's like a safe haven for quirkless people, and they just don't want any quirkless people to know about them, so, yeah. Of course, that's where Momo comes to the top of the roof, and then begins talking to Juno about how she got the gun and how Juno didn't tell anyone about that for months, but then Juno finally began opening up to Momo, just saying, well, this sort of wolf figure guy, I saw a lot of bodies and blood and guts and gore over him. And he gave me this gun and gave me the key card and said the safe house would be here. As Momo's okay, but can we trust him, Juno? As Juno's I don't know. I think he just wanted to give me this advice, just to survive for now. I don't know if he's on our side or not. As Momo's fine. However, we are running a bit low on supplies. Could you get Denke? Could you grab Denke and just go to that one store we haven't looted yet? As Yuri says, yeah, sure. As Yuri gets up and begins going down the stairs and calls up for Denke, Denke, as Denke's giving a smirk. As Juno's Denke, what are you smiling about? Denke's oh, I'm so excited to go to looting. I'm so bored. But that's not it, guys. You see, Denkei is a traitor. Why? Because, think about it. He's joined the cult. It's called the Children of the Spark. And once he saw the powers, he joined it in secret. So he's gonna lure someone out to kill them, and take their stuff. And he's gonna report back to him as her being dead and killed by some cult by the Children of the Spark, and try to make them join the Spark, basically. If some refuse, they get executed. However, Deku was there. As Denkei and Juno were walking for 2 hours, they managed to reach the store, but two guys pushed out of the windows, throwing the spear into Juno's arm, making her stuck between the pavement. As Denkei and the others are laughing, just saying, I can't believe you fell for our trap. Thanks, Denkei. You're the best. As Juno's like, Denkei, why? Why did you betray us? We're friends. As Denkei's like, we're friends, but I found a new calling. The Spark. The Mother. You will not stand in our way, Juno. So I have a question for you. Will you join me in the cult? Or would you rather die? As Juno just said one simple answer. Go fuck yourself, Denkei. As Denkei, grabs a spear. As the guy gives Denkei a spear. And Denkei is about to, stab right through her heart. Deku grabs it before it could get more inch further in. And all the guys are like, it's the Western Wolf! As Denku's like, shit, run! As the two guys were they ran for their lives, they too escape. However, Deku threw the spear at the guy's leg, and he's like, come get me, you fuckers! As Deku grabs the guy's leg, begins dragging him back towards Juno. And then Juno just sees the carnage. Deku grabs the guy's throat and starts ripping his head off. And all you hear is click. And then you see the guy's head in Deku's hand, and he throws it over the riverbank as he also tosses the body over there. As Juno's in pain, Deku leans down and just says, hey, do you want me to pull that out for you? She nods yes, as Deku says, ready, on a count of three. As Deku pulls it out and throws it to the side. She's like, as Deku's saying, you alright? She just says, yeah, I'm fine. I can't believe that bastard betrayed me. As Deku's like, well, you should have seen that coming. And Jun's like, what do you mean? As Deku's like, you see, I've been listening in onto your calls on the radio. However, Denkei's been going out a lot lately, so I assumed he was going to betray you guys. As Juno's struggling to get up, as Deku grabs Juno and begins carrying her towards her base, to Momo's base, or their base. As Momo says, who are you? As Deku then begins to say, well, I can't remember much of my past life. It's still a bit of a blur to me. I've been known as a Western Wolf for a couple of years now. And Juno says, how old are you? As Deku says, it doesn't matter. Another month goes by. However, the others are getting more desperate than ever. They are getting so desperate for supplies that they're thinking of trading goods with other people. However, after Juno got dropped off by Western Wolf, the Western Wolf said, "If you guys need anything, just call up my name for a favor. However, I'll only do this once." As flashback of Deku like dashing away. As Juno said to Momo, Momo says, "Okay, we have to move bases now. We're being attacked constantly because these people called the Children of the Sparks, right, Juno?" As Juno shakes her head, yes. As Juno says, as Rosie says, "Okay, guys, listen. This is gonna be dangerous, but we need a new place of operations." Juno, "Is there any other place?" Juno says, "No, but..." Rosie says, "But what?" "Well, you know Western Wolf guy?" As Juno says, Rosie says, "Yeah." He said, if we ask him for help, he'd owe us. We owe him a favor, and that has to be anything. And Rosie says, "Well, he did save your life, so I guess you would hurt." 5 hours later, Juno walking around the whole city, calling out for Western Wolf's name. As she calls it a second time, the Western Wolf appears in front of her with red glowing eyes. As Juno's sort of back by this, as Deku's like, "Hey, so been getting attacked constantly, I see." Juno says, "Yeah." As she puts down the knife, just saying, "We really need some supplies and a new base of location, because the one that you showed us was good for about 2 months, but after Denke told it where it was, we're pretty much on heavy fire every day of our lives." As Deku's like, "I do know another place." As she was like, "Okay, where's it at? Where's it at?" As Deku puts a finger up to Juno, just says, "Let me finish." She says, "Sorry." As Deku explains, it's in the waste dump. As she says, "The waste dump?" "Yes," Deku's saying, it's where they dump all the materials, like acid, spare parts, materials, chemicals. That's basically what happened." As Juno's like, "Okay, so is there anything else I need to know?" As Deku also says, "Yes. I've noticed that you've been pretty much using that blade." As Juno says, "Yeah?" As Deku says, "Yeah, that won't cut it. Take this one. It's the blade that can extend." As Juno's like, "Whoa, this is way more handier." As Deku says, "Yeah. Also, you might as well get yourself a rig." As Juno's like, "A rig? What's that?" As Deku's pointing at his chest, and Juno says, "Oh, so that's what they are called. I just thought they were endoskeletons." As Deku's like, "You're kind of right there." As Juno's like, "Well, is there anyone's available?" As Deku's like, There is one underneath the bridge, but you have to be very careful." As Juno's like, "Why?" "Because there's a big fucking robot there. I've managed to shut it down multiple times. However, it comes back online every 8 minutes." As Deku hands Juno an EMP grenade and just says, "If you find the weak spot, aim behind it. If you see a little power thing, throw the EMP at it, and it should disable it." And she was like, "Well, can you help me?" Doug was like, "No, I must help other people in this city. I'm also currently on an escort mission right now. Get some people to safety. So, you have fun with that." As Deku jumps away, as Deku's jumping onto building to building. As Juno's like sighing, just saying, as Juno's doing that, Bell meets Warden. Not Bell, I mean Deku. Deku meets Warden. Warden's like sitting on the rooftops, just like seeing the SUV, and just pointing at the gun at Deku, as Deku grabs it, just saying, "Easy, buddy, I'm on your side." As Warden says, "Listen, I don't have sides. Which side are you on?" "I'm on the side of the innocent one," Deku's saying. As both of them started working together after that day. But anyway, back to Juno. After Juno was dodging all the bullets from the huge robot, Juno was running straight towards it, but ducked underneath and threw the EMP behind it, shutting it down. As Juno went off the edge, she grabbed some rebar, and the rebar twisted, making into like a rope, and throwing her into the chamber. And then the suit started being drilled into her. She was screaming. After that, she lost consciousness. When she came out, she was wearing a full exosuit. As she was now ready for a fight, there was an enemy with a huge ass weapon. Juno decided to like see if she could block, and all of a sudden, there's like the head display that where the guy would hit next, and she parried him, and then she lunged at him, stabbing him through the head and killing him. As Juno was like sighing for like relief, she just was like so happy that she was able to kill one of these things, because they've been running from these things for months and hiding from them, and now they might have a fighting chance with her. But anyway, I want to see how much. I think I might end the video there. Yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to y'all later.